Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will be discussing about SQL, again, structured query language, and we'll be discussing how this structured query language is common for all the different databases and all the different operations like create, update, delete, insert. You can do perform on different databases, whether it is Postgres, whether it is MySQL, MS SQL. The structure query language is same for all these different type of databases. So basically, it was developed by IBM computers, and the main purpose was that there should be one query language that should be common. And if you learn this query language once, you are able to perform the different operations on different databases. So it's not specific to a particular database, it is common for all database. That's what it is called, structured query language. So sometimes people are confused, is it a programming language? So it's not a programming language, it's just for query. So all the CRUD operation like create, read, update, delete, those are done using this SQL. And it is used to create databases. Using SQL, you can create users, you can assign permissions. So for every operations, you have certain query, you have certain commands through which you can perform all these operations. So it's a normal, whenever you are going to for any SQL interview. So these are the normal questions, like we start from a database. So again, a database is again, it's a collection of data, and again, data is collected in an organized manner so that we are capable of doing all these operations, like all these CRUD operation easily. So that's what called database. It's not simply storage of database, it's an organized storage of database so that we can perform all the different operations on the database. Then we just discussed there are some optimizing things. So whenever you are going to create a table within a database, you need to make sure the type of the column, that is very important. So we have two similar things, one is your char and another is your varchar. So normally varchar is and char both are similar in terms of storing the data, but in terms of optimizing, varchar is a better option, because again, if you declare varchar 5, so in that case it is capable of accommodating 2 character, 3 character, 4 character, up to 5 character. But if we say char 5, so that means that all the 5 character space will be booked for this. Then we have different types of operations that we can do. So one is our data definition language. So in data definition language, we define the data. We have create, alter. So through this we can define a data. Then we can manipulate the data using insert, update, delete. Then there is a very important concept in database that is called view. So view is a virtual table, it's not an actual table, and this view is created on top of the table to perform different operations. So it doesn't have its own space, so it's a virtual table. A view also has rows and columns as they are on the real table, because it is created on top of the table. We can create a view by selecting fields from one or more tables. So again, since it is created on the top of the table, so we can have a combination. So we can create a view on top of multiple tables also, to have only one view from different tables. Then primary key, foreign key, again it's a unique. Then we have unique key, so that distinguishes each and every row in a particular table. Foreign key means that is linked to, so whenever we are going to link two tables, we have a primary key foreign key relationship through which we can easily identify the row that is mapped to a particular table. Then what is primary key is one of the candidate key. One of the candidate key is selected as the most important and becomes the primary key. Then we have some constraint also. So whenever you are going to enter data in a particular field, in a particular column. So we make sure that data is consistent, and the type of data that is required to insert into that particular field, it should be having some rules based upon that it is inserted. So constraint is used to fill a column with default and fixed values. Then we have two very important concepts called normalization and denormalization. So normalization is basically to remove the redundancy. So one particular table is divided into multiple tables, and in order to fetch the table, so every table has unique data, and since these tables are now divided into multiple tables, in order to fetch the data, we have this relational database concept in which we join these tables to get the desired information. Sometimes normalization can be a very costly affair where we are going to divide the table into multiple tables. So in that case, we go for a denormalization where we use the same table with some redundancy, so that everything is stored in one table and we are able to fetch the data fast from a single table instead of going for uh, a relational based database concept in which we are just going to relate the table, multiple tables. We are going to join multiple tables and then get the desired values. So denormalization is a database optimization technique in which we add redundant data to one or more table. This can help us avoid costly joins in a relational database. So it all depends upon the situation, it all depends upon the condition in which you are going to implement, because programming doesn't only means that you are going to implement the logic or something. It also depends, like in terms of cost, in terms of security, in terms of optimization, it should be up to the mark. Then you know what is a query, what is a subquery. So a query is basically used to retrieve data from the database. A query is used to insert data into database. So we have insert into then table and then column name, select star from this, then update table. So all those things we used using query. Subquery is the part of the query. So if we want to have a particular condition, based upon that we want to fetch some data, so we create a subquery, and whatever result of the subquery, we use that in a main query as a condition to filter the data. And there are a number of other options also for this query and subquery concept. Constraint, basically, again we just discussed, constraints are basically rules that we can apply to the type of data in table. So what type of data should be inserted in the table, that is managed using the constraint part. And in this case, we are sure whenever we are putting a constraint that the data that is being stored, it is as per the rules, as per the requirement. If any data that is not as per the rules, as per the constraint, it will not be stored in that one. Data integrity, again, it is a concept in the database being so that whatever data is being stored is correct and consistent. So that's what, like, we go for constraint, we go for rules, so that once the data is being stored in the table, it is directly, or we can directly use or consume it without checking if the data is correct or not. So because if we are dealing with millions of data, so it's very difficult to check each and every data that is being entered into the database or table. So in that case, the easiest way and the proper way is that we should have this constraint check for each column, and then it can be stored. Then we have some more other concepts also for user defined functions are there. So just for our ease, we defined some functions, and we can use this for all the repetitive tasks that is being done. So SQL also provides the concept of user defined functions, and you can use if some particular calculation is being done in multiple stored procedures. So in case of creating that function in all the stored procedures again and again, we have this code reusability concept in which we can just call this function that is being created in multiple places, so that there is no code redundancy also. So basically this was all about structure query language, some basic questions. We'll be discussing some more questions on SQL. These are the basic concepts. So in our next video, we'll be discussing some more questions on SQL. Friends, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching this video.